It was a spring morning unlike any other. The date was May 3rd, 1481. The Ottoman army had made camp east of Üsküdar, near Gebze, along the glistening edge of the Marmara Sea. The sun had barely begun to rise, casting a pale, golden shimmer over the dew-kissed tents, as if nature itself was holding its breath. A tense, almost sacred silence hung over the encampment. The soldiers, seasoned, battle-hardened, and fiercely loyal, stood in anticipation, yet unease clouded their thoughts. They had followed their sultan through countless campaigns across blood-soaked fields and distant lands, but this time, something felt different. Sultan Mehmed II, known to history as Mehmed the Conqueror, the man who had breached the indomitable walls of Constantinople and carved an empire from the remnants of Byzantium, was once again leading a grand military expedition. But this campaign carried an eerie sense of mystery. The destination? Unknown. Not a single general, not even the Grand Vizier, had been entrusted with the final objective. The Sultan's lips remained sealed, his eyes distant, as if glimpsing a vision only he could comprehend. Secrecy, as always, was his weapon, and so, whispers filled the camp like smoke. Was he marching toward Rhodes? Was southern Italy his goal? Or was it Egypt, where the Mamluks reigned supreme? At 49, Mehmed bore the marks of time, his body weary, but his mind undiminished. His spirit, that of a world shaper, remained aflame. He dreamed not merely of conquest, but of unification, a world empire that would transcend culture, faith, and geography. Among European courts, there was growing dread. Rumors swirled like storm clouds. Mehmed was preparing to strike Rome itself, the symbolic heart of Christendom. The Vatican, gripped with anxiety, ordered masses to pray for divine intervention. Kings trembled behind gilded walls. If Constantinople could fall, so could Rome. Then the unimaginable occurred. Just days after the army encamped near Gebze, Sultan Mehmed II fell ill. At first, the signs were subtle: a tremble in his once steady hands, an unusual fatigue, a loss of appetite. But these symptoms rapidly intensified. The Sultan, once the embodiment of imperial vigor, could no longer rise from his silken bed within the campaign tent. Anxiety gripped his inner circle. Royal physicians were summoned in haste. Among them Yaqub Pasha, the Sultan's personal and most trusted doctor. Yet even under Yaqub's attentive care, Mehmed's health deteriorated with terrifying speed. Rumors began to swirl, not of illness, but of something more sinister. Was the Sultan poisoned? And if so, by whom? On May 6th, 1481, after 3 agonizing days shrouded in secrecy, Sultan Mehmed II drew his final breath. But his death was not announced. No trumpets of mourning, no cries of sorrow, only silence. Under the veil of night, his body, wrapped in the finest silks, was quietly transported back to the capital. For 16 harrowing days, the empire remained in darkness. Istanbul, the jewel of his empire, heard no word. Behind the gilded walls of Topkapi Palace, a different kind of battle had begun. Mehmed left behind 2 sons, Bayezid, the elder, governing Amasya, and Sem, the younger, stationed in Karaman. In a dynasty where only one son could claim the throne and the others faced exile, or worse, timing was everything. The delay in announcing Mehmed's death granted Bayezid's supporters a precious advantage. Messengers rode day and night to inform him. Intrigues unfurled behind closed doors. In the Ottoman court, this was not merely a struggle for succession. It was a matter of survival. But what truly caused Mehmed's sudden death? Historians still grapple with this question. Some Ottoman sources claimed it was a natural decline, perhaps complications from gout or toxic buildup within his body, ailments poorly understood in the 15th century. But others point to darker forces. In the archives of Venice, a letter, chilling in its implication, was uncovered. The Grand Turk is dead. Poisoned as planned. His physician did what was necessary. The path to salvation is open. That physician, of course, was Yaqub Pasha. Could Yaqub, a man trusted with the Sultan's very life, have betrayed him? Did the Republic of Venice, threatened by Mehmed's naval ambitions and ever-expanding empire, orchestrate an assassination from within? Venice had much to fear and even more to gain. Its spies were everywhere, disguised as merchants, pilgrims, scholars. It is not far-fetched to imagine gold coins crossing palms and a lethal dose slipped in a medicine. Yet not all threats were foreign. Within Mehmed's own court, enemies lurked in shadow. His policies had unsettled the foundations of Ottoman power. He welcomed Jews fleeing the Spanish Inquisition, protected Christians, embraced thinkers and scientists who questioned orthodoxy. He centralized authority, weakening the traditional elites. Such sweeping reforms earned him both admiration and hatred. Following his death, his body was placed in an ice-filled coffin, sealed away even from the eyes of powerful dignitaries. When he was entombed in Istanbul, the burial was swift, almost secretive. To this day, his mausoleum has never been fully opened or subjected to modern examination. Urban legends persist of secret chambers beneath his tomb, of documents hidden with his body, of poisons that left no trace. We may never know the truth. The aftermath of his death shook the empire. Bayezid would eventually seize the throne. Sem, defeated in his bid, fled into exile, first to the Knights of Rhodes, then to Rome. There, the once proud Ottoman prince became a political hostage, paraded through Europe like a prize falcon. He would never return home. The flame of cultural and intellectual revival that Mehmed had ignited began to flicker. His successors, while capable, lacked his sweeping vision. Science gave way to orthodoxy. Openness yielded to caution. The Ottoman Empire turned inward, and with that turn, the course of world history shifted. Mehmed too was more than a warrior king. He was a philosopher ruler, a Renaissance mind in a world still bound by medieval chains. His life marked the rise of a global empire. His death marked the beginning of its hesitation. Was his demise the inevitable fate of a mortal man, or the calculated removal of a revolutionary force? Perhaps the truth is buried deeper than any tomb. Perhaps it is scattered in the wind, in forgotten letters, in the silence between lines of dusty chronicles. One day, maybe someone will open the vault. Until then, his ghost walks the corridors of power, whispering to those who dare to dream beyond borders. If this story gripped your curiosity, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more deeply researched, cinematic explorations of historical mysteries. Until next time, stay curious.